I am also eye testing the Michigan team, and I cannot wait for Michigan at Ohio State, because Michigan is looking like that team that could beat Alabama, because Wilson Spate, Harbaugh works miracles with quarterbacks. He worked a miracle with Colin Kaepernick that first year, that half a year, and then going into the next year.
He had Josh Johnson at San Diego.
That's right.
He did. And I love him as a play caller, and that Darboh kid can get behind everybody. So all of a sudden, I'm looking at Michigan, the #1 defensive team in the country, as a big threat to Alabama.
So you bring up a couple of points, and I think that my answer is going to, unfortunately for you, refute both of the things that you said. One is you said Ohio State's better than Washington, but a chain, just like a football team, is only as strong as their weakest link. And your resume should only be as strong as your weakest link, because when I'm game planning, I can tell you, though, I'm going to attack your weakest defensive player.
Right.
And Ohio State has thrown out some real duds on their schedule. A loss to Penn State. They did not play well against Indiana. They did not play well against Northwestern. So I can tell you that they've got amazing peaks, and that Nebraska game was an amazing peak.
Hey, and what they did to my Sooners that night, as you were there?
The Sooners were totally blasted by Ohio State, but their valleys are far lower than what Washington produces. Washington is a consistent team, a very consistent team. That consistency should be rewarded and has been rewarded right now with the committee, not only in the wins and losses column, but in the performance column. And that brings me to my next point. The team that most threatens Alabama is a team that's balanced, that can get behind the defense with a wide receiver. You pour into Darboh, I'll point to John Ross from Washington. Washington is the team that is primed to be the team to threaten Alabama. Wow. I'm not saying that they're better than Alabama, but they are primed to threaten Alabama, and here's why. They are incredibly balanced on all three levels of their defense. Great defensive line that produces pressure, athletic linebackers that tackle well in space, and one of the best secondaries that you've never heard of in the entire group of college football. Great corners, which you'll see this week against Juju Smith-Schuster and USC. And offensively, they're as balanced as any team in the country. The best pocket passer in the entire country, Jake Browning. John Ross is an electric wide receiver with 14 touchdowns, second in the country. Dante Pettis has 11 receiving touchdowns. And Myles Gaskin, who, oh, by the way, is the career yards per carry leader in Washington history. This is a team with Napoleon Kaufman in their history.
Yep.
This team is really good. It's not their fault that their games are on at 10:30 Eastern time. They're a great team. They deserve to be in the top four. They're better than Ohio State right now, and they're the biggest threat to Alabama.